Earth, our home, is the third planet from the Sun. It is the only planet known to have an atmosphere containing free oxygen, oceans of liquid water on its surface, and of course, life. According to evidence from sources such as radiometric dating, Earth was formed around 4.5 billion years ago. Within its first billion years, life appeared in its oceans and began to affect its atmosphere and surface, promoting the proliferation of aerobic as well as anaerobic organisms and causing the formation of the atmosphere's ozone layer. Earth has a diameter of roughly 8,000 miles, 13,000 kilometers, and is round because gravity pulls matter into a ball, although it is not perfectly round, instead being more of an oblate spheroid, whose spin causes it to be squashed at its poles and swollen at the equator.
Archipelago. One of the land features of the Earth is the archipelago. What is archipelago? An archipelago, sometimes called an island group or island chain, is a chain cluster or collection of islands. Our country, Philippines, is an example of an archipelago, which consists of 7,107 islands. A plateau, also called a high plain or tableland, is an area of highland, usually consisting of relatively flat terrain. Plateaus can be formed by a number of processes including upwelling of volcanic magma, extrusion of lava, and erosion by water and glaciers. The largest and highest plateau in the world is the Tibetan Plateau.
Plain. And here we have wide open flat plains. So what is the largest plain in the world? According to Encyclopedia Britannica, the Great Plains of North America are about 1.35 million square miles.
Canyon. A valley with steep, narrow sides is called a canyon. Often found at the bottom of a canyon is a river. The deepest canyon in the world is the Indus Gorge with Nanga Parbat, the world's 9th highest mountain, rising to the south.
Another land feature is a hill. Hill is a slope, uneven land, not as high as a mountain. An example of a hill is the Chocolate Hills in Bohol province of the Philippines. There are 1,776 hills spread over the area.
Island. A piece of land completely surrounded by water is called an island. For example, the Lysinong Island, one of the island of New Guinea, a region placed between two crystal clear bodies of water, the South Pacific and the Bismarck Sea.
Another land features of the Earth is the volcano. Volcano is a rupture in the crust of a planetary mass object, such as the Earth, which allows the hot lava, volcanic ash, and gases to escape from a magma chamber below the surface.
Mount Etna of Italy is thought to be the world's oldest active volcano. The first trigger of its eruptions date back in 1500 BC. Since then, Etna has erupted 190 times. It is one of the largest continental volcanoes and has the largest record of historic eruptions.
What comes up to your mind when you have the thought of usually hot place and hazy-limited rainfall? It is a desert. A desert could be hot and dry, semi-arid, coastal, or cold. The Sahara, also known as the Great Desert, is the world's hottest desert and the third largest desert. Antarctica has been classified as the largest desert in the world. It is also the highest, driest, coldest, and windiest continent. The lowest natural temperature ever recorded in this region was negative 89.2 degrees Celsius.
Isthmus. A narrow piece of land connecting two larger pieces of land is an isthmus. One example is the Isthmus of Panama, also historically known as the Isthmus of Darien. Is the narrow strip of land that lies between the Caribbean Sea and the Pacific Ocean linking on North and South America. It contained the country of Panama and the Panama Canal. Like many isthmuses, it is a location of great strategic value.
Glaciers, the large masses of snow, recrystallized ice, and rock debris that accumulate in great quantities and begin to flow outwards and downwards under the pressure of their own weight. They form when yearly snowfall in a region far exceeds the amount of snow and ice that melts in a given summer. The world's largest glacier is the Lambert Glacier in Antarctica.
Now, we came up to the mountain, the highest physical feature on Earth. It must rise 1,000 feet above the land around it. Mount Everest, also known in Nepal as Hagamarta and in Tibet as Komalangma, is the Earth's highest mountain. It is located in the Mahalungur section of the Himalayas. Its peak is 8,848 meters or 29,029 feet above sea level and is the fifth furthest point from the center of the Earth.
What is delta? Delta is located at the mouth of the river sediment collects and makes a landform. The largest delta can be found in northern Egypt, where Nile River and the longest river spreads out and drains into the Mediterranean Sea.
A piece of land surrounded on three sides by water is a peninsula. It stays connected to the mainland. The world's largest peninsula is the Arabian Peninsula. The Arabian Peninsula covers 1,250,000 square miles of land. This peninsula also contains the largest oil reserves in the world.
Den Valley. In geology, a valley or den is a depression that is longer than it is wide. The terms U-shape and V-shape are descriptive terms of geography to characterize the forms of valleys. Between hills and mountains, there may be a stretch of lowland called a valley. Aghan Valley, Pakistan. This valley is one of the most popular valleys in the world. Another water features of the earth is the ocean. Ocean is the largest body of water in the world. Ocean water is a salt water and covers 3/4 of the earth's surface.
The world has 4 oceans, namely Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean, and Arctic Ocean. The Pacific Ocean has a 165.25 million square kilometer in area. This is the largest division of the world ocean, making it larger than all the Earth's land area.
An inland body of water is called a lake. Its water is usually fresh. There's no blue quite like the aquiline blue of Crater Lake, which earned its name because it is formed when the caldera of volcanic Mount Masama collapsed almost 8,000 years ago. Now, ringed with 2,000-foot cliffs and reaching an astonishing depth of 1,943 feet, making the deepest in the U.S.
What is bay? Bay is a water that scoops into the coastline. The largest bay is the Bay of Bengal that can be found in Indian Ocean.
Another water features of Earth is the river. A river is a fresh water that cuts its path through land. The Nile River is the world's longest river.
Oasis is an isolated area of vegetation in a desert, typically surrounding a spring or similar water source. Number 1 in 10 beautiful and spectacular desert oases of some tourist websites in internet is the Agua Caliente in Tucson, Arizona. This beautiful oasis has turned into a recreational park. It has warm spring-fed ponds, palm trees, and paved sand walking trails. According to archaeological evidence is found, the oasis had inhabitation at least 5,000 years back.
Strait. A strait is a narrow body of water connecting two larger bodies of water. Which is most famous strait in the world? The Strait of Gibraltar is probably the world's most famous strait. It is a narrow strait that connects the Atlantic Ocean to the Mediterranean Sea and separates Gibraltar and Spain and Europe from Morocco and Africa.
Another water features of the Earth is the basin. Basin is an artificial enclosed area of a river or harbor designed so that the water level remains unaffected by tidal changes.
Inlet leads to the enclosed body of water such as sound, bay, lagoon, or marsh.